The reading for today is Your Grandmother's Prayers Are Still Protecting You. And I encountered, I didn't come in face to face, but I found a gentleman, John Mack, on Facebook, and he posts the most beautiful, inspirational readings. And I feel blessed since I've had the opportunity to, kind of communicate with him virtually. John McIntosh is a developing evidential and trance medium. He's an UC. Did I say that right? Reiki Master? I looked it up. He's an OCE, Reiki Master Practitioner, and an intuitive healer at Medium in the Middle. Your grandmother's prayers are still protecting you. They didn't end when her voice grew quiet. Love like that doesn't disappear. It transcends time, space, and form. Prayers born from love don't belong to time. They move through generations, carried by intention, faith, and devotion. Every whispered hope, every silent plea for your safety, every moment she placed you in the hands of spirit still lives on. You may feel it in moments when you're guided away from harm, when comfort arrives unexpectedly, when strength rises within you just as you thought you had none left. That is her love still working, still surrounding you, still watching over you in ways unseen. In the spirit world, love does not weaken, it expands. Those prayers become protection, guidance, and gentle nudges along your path. They weave themselves into your life like an invisible shawl, warm and steady, reminding you that you have never truly walked alone. When things work out in ways you can't explain, when you feel held during difficult times, remember this. Some blessings were spoken over you long before you understood them, and so too are the prayers, wishes, and loving intentions of all your ancestors. Those who walked before you, known and unknown, seen and unseen, are still standing with you. Their strength flows through your blood, their resilience lives in your bones, their wisdom echoes in your instincts and quiet knowing. They didn't just give you life, they gave you protection, guidance, and an unbroken thread of love that continues beyond time. In moments when you feel held without knowing why, supported through things you never thought you'd survive, gently redirected away from harm, that is them. You're never walking alone, you're walking with generations at your back, spirit at your side, and love woven into your path. Your ancestors remember you. They're still watching over you, and they are still answering you now. Thank you.
I'm so honored to share my thoughts with you as the first official talk of 2026. And I have to get used to saying that because I found the first thing I had to do New Year's Day is write it down. I had to write January 1st, 2026, because inevitably it'll happen where I'll revert back and write 2025 somewhere. So forgive me if I keep saying 2026. Um, and I want to talk about something that quite honestly is a little uncomfortable for me because it means sitting with your own darkness and pain and figuring out how to heal those parts of yourself. It means admitting that I'm vulnerable. But I've come to realize that vulnerability isn't a weakness, but rather a strength. It's about showing up, about love, about letting go of our perception of love in order to let more love flow in, to truly love others unconditionally, even with their flaws, but mostly to love ourselves with our own flaws. It's been a rough go these last couple of years, I'm not going to lie. And even coming into 2026, I've had to deal with some more family drama. And although I try my best to offer as much grace as I can, it's not always reciprocated or easy. Not a big fan of drama, never was, and I'm still trying to figure out how to avoid it. A dear friend suggested to me that you just keep your mouth shut, as if walking on eggshells is ever a good idea. And I think we're all walking around afraid to speak our truth or share our vulnerability with each other. And how many of us have done that only to have it used and thrown back in our faces? Those of us who do energy work know that holding things in can be detrimental to not only your emotional well being, but also to your physical health. It manifests in our bodies when we're surrounded by negativity. So maybe, as my mother said, mean what you say, but don't be mean when you say it. It means speaking honestly, but through a filter of empathy and consideration for another person's feelings. We're so afraid to have hard conversations. What I've experienced over the holidays was someone with anger issues who never learned how to regulate their emotions. Someone who is self righteous and judgmental and doesn't care who gets hurt along the way because his need to be right is greater than his desire to be kind. Even so, I recognize that he's in pain and that not all of his life choices have been good ones. At one point, he even took accountability for some of his behaviors and apologized to those he hurt. But what good is accountability and apologies if there's no change in behavior? I chose in the moment to step back, rather step into the rage. And it's not that I've given up on this person, but I hope my own silence gives him pause to reflect. Perhaps I'm expecting too much. Needless to say, I've had to sit with myself and do a deep dive into who I am and how I can improve. In fact, going into 2026, there was a lot of reflecting, a lot of quiet contemplation, and realizing that those closest to you most definitely have the greatest ability to hurt you. I suppose I have to lower my expectations and remember the three things I've shared before. If they really wanted to, they would. No answer is an answer, and not everyone has your heart. And isn't your heart a fascinating mix of love and feel good emotions, but also of grief and pain? We're told to listen with our heart, go with our heart, follow our heart, and also to protect our heart. Our heads and our hearts are often at odds with each other. In these last few days, my heart has told me to be kind, to be understanding, to not allow myself to be hurt by another's anger, but my head was telling me to be angry, lash out, hurt back. I chose to go with my heart, which meant going silent. Whether or not the other person will come to understand their part, I'm not sure, but it isn't really up to me to explain, and I don't think it's my place to point out his errors. I think accountability comes from within and can't be forced, or else it's never truly sincere. So in 2026, I'll continue my quest for peace and be silent rather than reactive, because reactive doesn't look pretty on anyone. My granddaughter, who I'm taking immense pleasure in spending time with, was getting frustrated the other day. It wasn't anything major, but I could see the emotion building up. So I just looked at her and I held out my finger and I asked her to take a deep breath and help me blow out my candle. She thought it was funny and she took a nice deep breath and she blew hard on my finger. She'll be 3 in February and doesn't quite understand the benefits of just breathing and letting go, but she's always excited to blow out a candle. And immediately after, I can see her start to calm down. Going forward, I'm sure I'll be blowing out a lot of candles as I navigate and evaluate my place in this world, my interactions with others, and whether I still have a purpose, because I can't help but feel we're living in an upside down world right now. The values of yesterday are no longer valued today. Families are broken. The art of apology and kindness and compassion are all being tested. We've become a lot more self-centered and focused on our own needs. We used to put others first, and now we walk away from those who don't put us first. We're more interested in protecting our peace than working it out. And it's sad because we all withdraw into our own little corners, relying on social media to fulfill us. But where does that leave humanity and connection? We need connections. Humans need to feel connected to other humans. So perhaps instead of old acquaintances being forgotten, maybe we need to extend ourselves a little more, work at it a little harder, and recognize that everyone is carrying a heavy burden that they just need to put down every once in a while. Life can be so intense. So here we are with a new year ahead of us. New opportunities, renewed hope, and if we're not feeling the joy, then it's up to us to create it. Make joyful moments. How wonderful the world would be if we just remember that the connections we make and the lives we touch, and that above all else, people and love is what matters. So at least for myself, I will try to love more, be kinder, forgive more, and especially forgive myself for not being perfect, to extend more grace to myself and to those who need it, to not see every reaction as a personal attack, to blow out that candle and step back and to always lead with my heart. Protect your peace, but offer it to others as well. And to realize, as loving as you can be, that we often love others based on our own needs, not theirs. Take the time to love yourself this year. Appreciate your existence. Know that you matter. Know that joy is a right of the human experience. We're not just here to suffer, although many of us have in one way or another, but don't let that harden you. Continue to be the beautiful selves I've come to know and love in all of you, and always let love prevail. Spread it like confetti on New Year's Eve. And when something becomes too much to handle, then put it in God's hands. Because God, your spirit team, your loved ones in spirit, as Candy mentioned, your grandmothers, will always have your back. Trust their guidance. Prioritize your health because it's the most valuable thing you have, and there's nobody in this community that I'm ready to say goodbye to. If not for yourself, then do it for those who depend on you, for those who would be lost without you. And that's probably more people than you realize because you've probably touched more lives than you know. I wish you all a magical, love-filled, joy-filled year ahead. May all your dreams come true, and may you have all that you desire. More importantly, may we always be grateful for all that we do have, and may it always be enough. So thank you so much for listening, and God bless you all.